I'm Faith Salie, and you're entering a world gone good.
Well, hello, my name's Steve, and this is the place where we shine the light on everyday people making good happen each and every day. Welcome to World Gone Good. Today we are wrapping up Season 6, and we are doing so by jaunting back a bit. And by a bit, I mean 256 episodes to our very first World Gone Good show ever. Why are we doing this? Because I was at the gym, and I was like, I'm going to listen to something fun. So I thought, hey, let me go back to the very first episode of this here show and give it a listen, because I remember it being just that, fun. What I didn't quite remember was how poorly mixed, edited, and finished it was. I was embarrassed, you guys. Look, it was the first episode of any podcast I had ever done. I like to believe I've improved my producing and editing abilities, and especially my mixing skills. Yeesh. So then I thought, why not take the very first episode of World Gone Good, give it a good glow up, and bring it back to you, present it to you as our special way of closing out Season 6. But I didn't stop there. No, I never do. I went even further in my master plan of, I want to say evil, but I have to say good. Okay, so to make this episode even a little more special, I went and not only did I remix and revamp and recut the very first episode, I went and got you all the woman who was on the very first episode, my friend from New York City. Faith Salie is here with us. How are you, my friend?
I wish you could see how big I'm smiling. I'm so good. I'm so happy to talk to you. And I've asked my children to be quiet. Let's remember, we're in a 2-bedroom Manhattan apartment. But if you hear my son playing the opening chords of Phantom of the Opera, which is his
latest obsession,
this is his goal for the day. And then Minerva has decided playing Christine is number 1 on her list before playing Galinda. These are future life goals. So they've been singing Phantom of the Opera around here. Yes, they're my children.
I love this. I love this about them. I want to ask you a question to start. Do you remember that I forgot when we first recorded? I forgot to ask you to say, hi, I'm Faith Salie, and you're entering a World Gone Good. And I texted you, and you recorded it on your phone and sent it back to me. And if you go back and listen to the very first episode, it sounds completely different because I didn't know how to mix back then. But I mixed it for this one. So the one you all just heard at the top of the show, that's the same one. It just sounds way fucking better because I know what I'm doing now.
Congratulations.
Do you remember
that? 6-year learning curve. No, I don't. Steve, I don't remember anything. How do we know each other? No, there's so little I remember, but I remember what we talked about 6 years ago. So that I remember.
Yeah, it was so great of you to say yes, because I contacted you. I contacted like 16 other people, 17 other people, and said I'd like to make a bunch of test episodes just to see if I could do this. And I banked all these great episodes, including yours. And then I decided on that very first day, I'm going to do 3 right at once. I'm going to launch 3. And I was like, oh, the Pashan one's really good. Oh, the Brett one's really good. And I'm like, but I have to open with this ridiculous TALF story, which I originally saw on Facebook. Didn't you post it there to start?
See, I don't remember. I don't know. But I will tell you that before talking to you today, I went back into my photos on my phone and watched a video of TALF with my children looking over my shoulder. And I mean, should we take a moment to remind your listeners what TALF stands for?
Well, they're going to find out in a few minutes. Listen, they're going to listen to this whole episode. Don't ruin it. No spoiler alerts.
Okay.
Now, it's 6 years later since this all went down.
Mm-hmm.
Is TALF still... I mean, they gave up on TALF pretty quick after it, if I remember right, because we talked about on the 1-year anniversary show, they already were done.
Yeah, they had given up on TALF, but I will say last night, John, my husband and I took our kids' computers and they still don't have phones. So I pat myself on the back for that. They're 12 and 14. And we hid them in our bedroom so that they would not wake up and be on laptops. And when I told my son Augustus, all right, I'll get your computer, because he said he wanted to look up the sheet music to Phantom of the Opera. And I was like, well, okay. I closed my bedroom door and locked it so that he couldn't see where I had hidden the laptop. And he starts trying to bang the door down saying, TALF is back in action. He hasn't referenced TALF for years. So it is an idea that never dies.
Like democracy.
Right.
Please, dear God, if there is one.
So the irony, or maybe this is predicted evolution of the way things go. Now my kids want their own rooms, and they want to be able to lock the doors to their rooms. This is where we are in the circle of life. And this is why I think this is an extremely timely, well, it's kind of a bookend, isn't it? That we're talking about TALF now that we're 6 years after you're starting this show. My family is moving. We, for the first time in all of my many decades, we're buying a home. We're not going to rent. Everyone's going to have their own bedroom. Well, John and I will be sharing a bedroom, but my kids each get their own bedrooms. And so they've been going through this process. My kids, I'm not exaggerating, there's probably 200 stuffies in their room. And that I blame on my husband, who can't not buy a stuffy for them. And that I blame on his parents for neglecting him as a child. So they have been going through their stuffies and figuring out like which ones to give away. And to their credit, bags of stuffies they're giving to kids who really need them, right? And we have a dollhouse, that's a huge dollhouse in the room that served as a bookshelf for years, and we're getting rid of that, and all these books they've grown out of, and it's been very emotional. And for the past 6+ years, there have been 2 stuffies who are my grandchildren. Their names are Nutty and Lobsty. One's a lobster from Maine, and one is a very soft nutcracker hand crocheted by women in Bangladesh. And Nutty and Lobsty are brothers. And Augustus and Minerva have cast themselves years ago as Nutty and Lobsty's parents. Now, we don't want to go into the provenance and genetics and all that, right? I assume it's an adoption situation. But they call me Gamma, and my husband is Gampa. And Nutty and Lobsty have gone with us everywhere, all over the world. They go to camp. When the kids do shows, I put Nutty and Lobsty on my lap, and they applaud at the end of shows, always, just for the past 6+ years since they've been in our lives. And just recently, Minerva, who's, over 12, she's been like, when we say, oh, we got to bring Nutty and Lobsty wherever we're going, she'll say no. And it seems like she's embarrassed. And Augustus isn't. He's 14. He's fine with bringing his sons with him. And then if it gets to be a problem, I say, Minerva, I have grandparent rights, and I take the stuffies. So I've been feeling a little sad because Minerva claims that she just wants to protect them and she doesn't want to lose them. But we thought it's because she was embarrassed. So 2 nights ago, John and I went on a walk in Central Park in the early evening, which is also new. Like, we can leave our home. We can leave our children. Like, babysitters no more. And we get back, and it's almost 9:00 at night. And Minerva is sitting in her bedroom fixing her hair, which she's put into a very chic kind of chignon with a clip. She's put on her Laneige lip gloss, and she's wearing a pink blazer that she's taken. It's Augustus's pink blazer. And she looks very official. And she has a what looks like a briefcase. It really holds all of the kids and John's poker chips because they play poker, and another repurposed cigar box. And she says, which one looks like a briefcase? And we agree that the poker chips. And then she says, Mom, can I have a legal pad? So I give her my pink legal pad. And she said, I am an attorney, and I need you to sign this warrant because Augustus has been neglecting his children. So Augustus was in the bath, and in order for her to get into the bathroom, I had to sign the warrant. And John was vaguely in her way, and she said, I actually wrote this down. No, move it or I'll sue you too. So she so, so she nudges her father out of the way, goes into the bathroom where her 14-year-old brother is trying to take a bath in peace. And she announces to him that he has been neglecting their children, and that she's going to call Child Protective Services, and she's going to sue him. And then he says, well, I'm representing myself, and you stole my blazer. Now I'm suing you for theft and defamation. And then he goes, and who's the judge? And she said, Mom, at which point I stepped out of the picture. And I was like, you all have to work this out. And it's not going to be healthy for your children if they have to testify. So I stepped out to go stand in the kitchen with John. I swear to God, Steve, they discussed this probably for 15 minutes more. Then they came out, they sat Nutty down, they had a co-parenting conversation with Nutty about his ADHD. He's 5, by the way. Lobsty's 6. And then we all watched Harry Potter. And I just have one coda. I mean, they seem to have worked it out for the time being. But Lobsty was sitting on my lap, and the kids got him in Maine during the pandemic. And it says Maine on his claw. And Lobsty said to me, Gamma, that's how Lobsty talks. Gamma, I may be from Maine, but I was never a supporter of Graham Plattner. If your listeners don't know Graham Plattner,
Google it.
Google it. And I was just, it was all, I'm so glad that at 12 and 14, my children are still so wonderfully weird and creative and honestly really good parents.
I'm just concerned that Lobsty doesn't end up in a pot on the top of the stove as someone's, warning sign.
He's too plush. He's too plush for that.
Okay.
But when I knew we were going to just revisit TALF, I felt like my heart kind of contracted. And I was like, oh, they were so little and so cute and so, just inexorably creative and silly and fun. And has that all gone away? And I'm here to tell you it has not. It is escalated. There are now warrants and Child Protective Services involved, but there's still that kernel of joy and whimsy.
I mean, I'll give them these kids this. They are litigious. I mean, they really...
Yeah, none of us is a lawyer in this family.
Well, that's not true. She is. She has a cigar box. And
poker
her hair
chip.
in a banana clip.
That's that. And Laneige lip gloss. Mm-hmm. Check.
Yeah, I mean, what else do you need? Check.
A pink legal pad is what you need.
Apparently so. She's walked by a bar in New York City, I'm sure. That's got to count.
She passed it. She did.
She passed a bar.
Yeah. Several on our block.
Exactly. All right, we're going to start this revamped remix episode coming up here. Is there any intro you want to give to it for our audience? Myths, Faith, Salie.
Oh, I just rewatched the video I took of their public service announcement, and 8-year-old Augustus, my son, had his hair was just growing out because it's now long, and while he was talking, he was trying to brush it out of his eyes, and his little 6-year-old sister was helping him brush it out of his eyes with one hand, and with the other hand, she had her thumb in her mouth. It was the cutest.
It's real cute until you hear the story that's about to come up in 3, 2, 1. Today on our very first show, we're going to talk about something good. Protesting. Now, for some people, protesting, specifically peaceful protesting, is seen as positive, a symbol of our freedom, what makes our democracy so strong, right? But for others, protesting is viewed as a negative thing. They see it as a dissent. We're going against the grain. It's going against accepted ways. Protesting is at its root a form of communication. And for my very first guest ever here on World Gone Good, it took on something a bit more personal when the protest itself entered her very own home. You may know Faith Salie as a correspondent on CBS Sunday Morning, or maybe you know her from NPR's Wait, Don't Tell Me, or as the author of her hilariously funny and deeply personal memoir, Approval Junkie, or maybe you know her from that recent meme when she was on Star Trek, one of the Star Treks. Yeah, she's a meme now. That's pretty cool. Look, I know her from all these places too, but I also know Faith as my friend. I just want to say to start things that I don't know if you feel this way about me, Faith, but this is how I feel about you. In an alternate dimension, we are married. And we're like Jennifer and Jonathan Hart on Heart to Heart. And we solve crimes not because we're detectives, but because I'm a Playboy millionaire and you're a sexy model. And people just keep getting murdered around us. And we're just like, I don't know. We'll solve it.
And we're just so good together.
We're so good.
So good together.
And we constantly call each other darling. Just like the Hearts. That's how I see life.
We have the same vision of a multiverse. That is happening somewhere.
I just love it so much. I just love the idea of just like we're having a good old time at Thanksgiving and someone drops dead and everyone looks at us. I'm like, oh, well.
All right, we'll do it.
We'll do it. Okay, hang on. Dessert's going to be a couple minutes late.
I love this vision. Thank you. That's one of the nicest things anyone's ever said to me.
All right, so you obviously you're married. You have your own family.
I mean, to my fake non-crime solving husband,
that guy.
But I mean, he's Jewish, so we're halfway there.
You're halfway there.
I mean, it's my second marriage. I finally figured out you got to marry a nice Jewish guy.
Don't ever doubt it. Don't ask my husband. He's 13 years into this tragedy. Where'd you meet your husband?
We like to say we met on Gay Date. Because his gay best friend and my gay best friend were having lunch at Toast. Is Toast still a place in West Hollywood? Or was it pre-pandemic?
I think it was, yeah.
This is a decade ago. They were bemoaning our significant others at that time. And they just had that light bulb moment. And we're like, you've got chocolate, I've got peanut butter. Let's make them taste great together. And then those two men, Rob and Manfred, were our best men at our wedding a year later and the godfathers to our children.
Because this is why I've asked you here, not just to spend lovely time with you. I really want people to understand the good that's happening in the world. And your son and daughter, well, I'm going to let you take it away with what happened because this is the good.
You call it good. They are still disgruntled. And this is a cautionary tale for everybody. If you do not allow your 6 and 8-year-olds to have iPads, they get very creative. I mean, the other morning I came out and they had constructed an ATM out of paper and there's a 6-year-old hand that reaches out and throws money at you, but also makes sounds like beep, 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 here is your money. So my children look at screens to do school, but other than that, we don't let them have screens. And they wake up before 6 a.m. And so there's always something exciting when I come out in the morning at the very late hour of 6:45. Sorry, that was a long preamble, but we live in a 1,200 square foot apartment in New York City. There's 4 of us plus my husband's dog. And they share a room.
Wait. I'm sorry.
I know. I knew you weren't going to let that go.
Why is it your husband's dog?
Because he had this dog before we started dating and we got married and I allowed the dog to live in our apartment. Now, you don't like children and I never wanted a dog.
Can you put the...
Let's not confuse that. Hold on. Let's not confuse that with saying I don't like dogs. I think dogs are delightful. Sure. I never wanted a dog. It's hard to have a dog in New York City. This poor dog, we can't just be like, hey, here's the back door, go out and run around. This poor dog gets stuck in this apartment all day. And, he gets walked 2 or 3 times a day if he's lucky. But I just never wanted a dog. And I know that makes me horrible, and I've lost all your listeners.
No, it's my listener. Listen, what we're going to do is singular. What we're going to do
is cut that out.
I'm going to just do a future show with the dog.
Corbin. His name's Corbin. He's a rescue dog from Georgia, and I'm a rescue from Georgia as well. So we actually have a lot in common. So, anyway.
Okay, the children have gotten up at 6 a.m.-ish.
Okay, my family got back from a little vacation. And while we were on vacation, safe vacation, I asked our building to install a lock on John's and my bedroom door, which we've never had. Now, one might think that means that we're having spectacular and constant sex that is interrupted. And unfortunately, that's not the case. I mean, the sex is great and spectacular, but it's not constant and it's not interrupted. I just have to use our bedroom as a place to eat chocolate away from the children. I have to use our bedroom. That's like, there's a purple chair I sit in that I bought to breastfeed my children. That is now my desk. Like, that's where I do my writing. I don't even have a desk in my room. I use a windowsill. This is New York City, people. We are the poorest rich people you know. No matter how many times I've told my children for the past 8 years, if I tell you that you can't come in, you can't come in, they come in. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm getting a lock put on the door. That'll show them. So while we were gone, we get a lock put on the door. We get back from this vacation and I test out the lock. You would have thought that I told them I was going to sell them. They skipped the step of like being hurt. They were so personally outraged. Like, how dare I? They couldn't even believe it. They started screaming to each other, no lock, no lock. Well, to me, no lock, no lock. And I just stayed really calm. And I was like, these are boundaries. And, you know, I've asked you for years for privacy. And so when I need to have privacy, I'm just going to lock the door. Now, the footnote, Steve, is that all they have to do is bang on the door. If I'm in there doing a business call, like, it doesn't matter if it's locked or not. They're still going to bang on the door. But I thought this would nevertheless deter them. This was at night. I put them to bed. The next morning, I open the door. John's still trying to sleep with the sound machine on. And there are two envelopes at the foot of our door. They are both addressed.
Wait, are they under the door? Like underneath? Okay.
No, they're right outside. So you open the door and they're right, like you step on them. And they're side by side. They're addressed to Fath. Ampersand John. They managed to put the H in my husband's name. He is the only Jewish John with an H in his name.
So mad they've gone to first names.
Exactly. They skipped over mom and dad. But I also realized, I'm trying to find the other I have all the documentation, which is why y'all are hearing these pages. But Faith is spelled F-A-T-H. And then underneath it is just capital T, little A-L-F, TALF. And then there's another one to Faith and John. And in this one, I believe my name is spelled correctly. And then it has our apartment number. So clearly it was delivered to the right apartment. Faith and John, apartment number. And then it says the Anti-Lock Foundation. So immediately I know what TALF is. So the letter says...
One quick question. We all know.
Yeah.
How old is Augustus?
Augustus is 8 and Minerva is 6. So this is in Augustus's handwriting. And it says, Dear Faith, ampersand, John, comma. It's all very good so far. Like, good grammar, everything. I am a member of the blank household, our apartment number. This is my favorite part. I was recently, except recently is spelled resently. R-E-S-E-N-T-L-Y. I was resently. So good. It
works on so many levels.
It does. Informed that y'all got a lock on your bedroom door. It keeps this household physically apart. Physically is spelled P-H-I-S-I-C-L-Y. And it's written in like pointy barbed wire handwriting that like a person in an asylum, like a serial killer would write. Like it is gone. It is in all caps and it's like gone over and over.
So it looks like someone's angry and murderous. And then the other one says, if you do not take the Luke down, the Luke. Now that doesn't have an umlaut. It is spelled Loock. If you do not take the Luke down, you will hear and see a protest tomorrow morning. You're very, and again, that's the barbed wire crazy person handwriting on very angry inhabitants. I mean, it's pretty good spelling, all in all. And I do want to point out that I, in the past 2 years, have started saying y'all because it is gender inclusive. And I appreciate that my children do that. So we were warned. I spent the day.
That was letter number 1 and 2 or just 1?
That was letter number 1 in 2 parts.
Oh, it was in 2 parts.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. Legally, I would think that would probably be. Was it notarized?
It was not notarized, but that doesn't mean, I mean, it was still very official, and I believe it
I mean, it was
business.
delivered, obviously, because the address was there through the mail, so that makes it official.
I mean, I was served,
Pretty
basically,
much,
right? Because it was inside my apartment, right? So there was a lot of, like, grimacing, and I wanted to laugh, but I knew I shouldn't, because I appreciated the ceremoniousness with which this threat was launched. And I should also add that my children went on their first protest at the end of May, beginning of June, and it was a Black Lives Matter, socially distanced, safe, like children's protest in Riverside Park. And so they really got into the signage, the marching, and the chanting.
Sure.
And we talked a lot about peaceful protests and what they mean. I told my children that Faith and John appreciated the warning.
Actually, if I can interrupt, Fath and John.
Fath and John appreciated the warning. I told them that protests are okay, but they must be peaceful and can't involve a lot of yelling. Because, we have neighbors. So there was a lot of whispering that day. I saw them caballing. They caballed in the bath. They still take a bath together. At one point, they were over in the corner, clearly making some kind of signs, and they kept going into our utensil drawer to get like shish kebab sticks. And then I didn't even use the lock that day. Like, I would just go into my room and close the door, and I would just, like, I'd be working, and then you'd just see the door handle just go like someone was checking it. Like, I knew that they wanted me to lock it so that it would, like, foment their outrage, and I wasn't going to hand that to them. So I went to bed that night. Like, they were still in the planning stage, and I got to say, I was a little bit afraid. I didn't know. I knew somebody was going to greet me the next morning. I wasn't sure what it was. So I woke up, and I walk out of my apartment, and I'm trying to find the signs. Minerva, they're in their pajamas. Minerva is holding a very wide sign aloft. Like, she's placed it so that the 2 shish kebab spears are, arm's length apart, and she's holding it above her head. I think they're also influenced by suffragists, because we had been watching some footage of suffragists with the centennial of the 19th Amendment. She's walking around our very small living room over the dog, because Corbin the dog can't be bothered. Like, he's just sprawled out with the protest going on over him. So one side of the sign, clearly she's made, and it has a smiley face, a purple smiley face with a line through it. And then it has something that really looks like the head of a penis, like a circumcised penis. It has a line through it as well. So, right. So I'm like, what is that one about? Like, do they know what sex is? First of all, let's start there. Do they know what sex is, and do they think we want to lock so we can have sex? I'll get to that in a minute. And then she's written no, N-O-O, in all 6-year-old caps, for Luke's. No for Luke's. L-O-O-C-K-S. And then it says no Luke. So I asked them, what is this? Pointing to the circumcised penis. And they said, that's a lock. So it was supposed to look like what they were trying to draw was like the kind of lock that has the curved top that slips through. Yeah. Okay.
Like a combination lock.
Thank you. Exactly. And then on the other side, which Augustus had done, it says Luke's don't matter. I actually am at an age where I think Luke's don't matter either. And the don't is written in the barbed wire handwriting. And it says Luke's don't matter. And then it says they keep us apart. Exclamation point. I mean, so that was a thing. So I have this, rule in my family. If you really want something, well, rule's a little strong, but I'm always trying to teach my children persuasive speech and strategical thinking, right? So I was like, what are the 3 reasons why you object to the Luke? And Augustus said, well, it keeps us apart physically. It keeps us apart mentally, kind of. And Minerva's like, and we don't like it. So I go into the kitchen and my son is there in his Woody from Toy Story. He's in his Woody pajamas that he's completely outgrown, looking really angry. And he hands me the next letters. Dear Faith and John, we have previously asked you to remove your Luke. We are asking yet again in the barbed wire handwriting. Please remove your Luke. Except he wrote please and then crossed it out. Like we mean business. Then there's another circumcised penis with a line through it. And it says the anti-Luke Foundation. And then there's another note and it says, Dear Faith and John, the anti-Luke Foundation does not permit locks. He spelled it right there. You are charged a fine of, and clearly a number has been written down and crossed out. And if you hear the sirens in the background, I don't know if you can, but that proves that I'm in New
that
York
also
City.
could be the TALF.
It could be
coming to get you or another offender.
You are charged a fine of, and then it says $26. And so the whole thing's in pen, but the $26 is in like a hunter green marker. Ooh. So I have no idea how they came up with that number, why they chose, maybe the color reminded them of money. We have spies around you. Spies is spelled SPEIS. Oh. If you agree to take down the lock, sign the enclosed form. Then it says, just noticing this, this is TALF, all in caps, right? Like a good acronym should. And then in parentheses, it says TALF in lowercase.
Is that like a pronunciation? Like the pronunciation?
It's making me, I don't know why this is making me laugh so hard. It's like, here, we're TALF. Let me describe what that stands for. TALF. And then it says, and then they enclosed the thing that we were supposed to sign. I hereby, HEAR, BY, agree to the terms of the Anti-Lock Foundation, and I will sign this contract for the greater good. And then it says, please do it. And then there are 2 lines, and then it says TALF. And then there's a little receipt in there, like the actual fine, and it says TALF. And then it says Y, kind of impressed my kid knows how to use a colon, having a lock. And then it says $26. And then I don't know how much time we have. This is like the longest one-woman show I've ever done. But then they had, in fact, used the iPad and made like a public service announcement asking, like the audience for this announcement, it wasn't me and John. The audience was you, Steve, and everyone who might care for these poor children who have been locked out.
This was the Anti-Lock Foundation to you. Now is the time to take action, protest, mail her letters, and join the fight.
They know they're supposed to be quiet in the morning. And so I think they were probably speaking in hushed tones because they didn't want to get in trouble, but it really makes their video plea like really earnest because they're like, hey, we really need your help. And then the people marching with them are the Harry Potter itty bitties that I recently bought them from Hallmark.com. So I'm talking they've joined ranks with Dolores Umbridge, like cute Dolores Umbridge and cute Bellatrix Lestrange.
Oh my God, that's how far you've gone. They've gone to that side.
Yes.
Now, wait, I have a couple quick questions that I'm sure everyone listening would like to know. First of all, do you think when he has the pointy writing, do you think he used his other hand?
Oh, that's a great question. No, because it's very legible. It's in fact, there's no way he used his other hand because it's so deliberately ominous and sinister that he worked extra hard with his dominant hand.
Do they think that $26 is a lot of money? It's not. I'm not making fun of people who need. Like, I'd like $26 too.
Oh no, I'm not laughing at that at the number either. I just think that's such a good question, and I want to say yes because when my father sends them cards with like single dollar bills that equal their age, their eyes get really big, and they say, "We can go to the candy store," and then I always say, "I never take you to the candy store." So they have this imaginary candy store in their heads that they're going to. But it's funny, Steve, because the other day I said something about $100 to Augustus, and he was like, "Oh, well, that's cheap." And I was like, "What? Who are?" I forget what the context was, but I was sickened by my consumptive capitalistic son. I was like, "Who are you, an 8-year-old, to say something's cheap at $100?"
We are suffragettes, for fuck's sake.
So I think that they think that $26, I mean, clearly it's more than $25. I think they think that's going to hurt.
So now I understand also that there was some sort of performance art that happened.
Walks don't matter. Walks don't matter. Walks don't matter. Walks don't matter.
So we finally in June found this. It is an understatement to call him a babysitter because he is now extended family. But this amazing director, like bona fide theater director, because this is New York, right? Who his 5 shows are all, in limbo that he was supposed to direct in 2020. And he's part of this wonderful, like, babysitting company that all these Broadway performers have joined, right? Like, because nobody has any work, and all these New York City families are so lucky because everybody has like singing, dancing Mary Poppins now for babysitters. And his name is Will, and he is a godsend. And so Will comes over, and the next thing I know, Will, the theater director, has helped them devise a show in which they use, my children never rehearse enough, let me just say that, but they use these big plastic Lego, like canisters that hold Lego, and they build it up to be about, I don't know, 5 feet high, and they put pillows on either side. And I come out of my room and they're like, "Oh, okay, Mommy, are you ready? Are you ready?" And Minerva and Augustus put on this kind of performance where Minerva's on one side of the Lego wall and Augustus is on the other, and they both need each other, and they're trying to reach out, but they can't get there because there's a wall in between them. And then Augustus says to Will, who's off stage, who's apparently also the stage manager here, he's like, "Put on a song that'll make Mom cry. Put on a song that'll make Mom cry." And then so everybody stops. Oh, and then Minerva says it's like a 2-act show. So she goes over to the window shades and pulls them down and then pulls them back up. And
that's the curtain. Sure.
As a curtain. And then they put on this new-ish Alanis Morissette song that's like the pandemic anthem for all parents. It's called "Ablaze," which is a song that they know makes me cry. So they put this Alanis Morissette on.
Wait, I have to interrupt you. I have to interrupt you because Sarah McLachlan is so fucking pissed at them right now. She's like, "I have a library, you little bitches." Okay, go ahead.
But that's my fault because I haven't opened my children up to Sarah McLachlan's oeuvre, and so the chorus of this new Alanis Morissette song is I get teary when I say this. My mission is to keep the light in their eyes ablaze. Like, it's all about keeping our children like buoyant and full of faith and all this stuff. So they put that fucking song on, and instead of it making me cry, I'm kind of amazed at their manipulation technique. Like, I'm kind of in awe of it. And I'm looking at Will like, these kids mean business. And Minerva is the best improviser I've ever seen. And she's kind of doing this interpretive dance. And then at the end, they decide to like take down the Lego wall, and they're holding each other. And then Minerva whispers, "Get Mom some candy." So Augustus is tall enough to go into like my Easter jelly bean stash and gets me a couple of sour Starburst jelly beans. And I clapped, and that was the end. I mean, I think what they wanted me to say was the lock comes down, but honestly, I don't know how much it takes to what's the word I want? Disinstall, if that's a word.
Yeah.
Disinstall the lock. So
maybe uninstall,
so I mean that's
but sure.
Uninstall, thank you. That's kind of I feel like that was just a really slow denouement there, but at least I've given you the soundtrack to go out on. You're going to play the Alana song.
Well, I can't afford it, but sure, we're all going to hum it. Now, listen, do you have any plans to take the lock off, or are we just going to try to get past this?
No, I'm not taking the lock off.
Okay, fuck that.
Because and the thing is, I don't even use it. Like, I haven't even used it.
It's the idea.
It was the idea of it. And I actually, thinking about talking to you for this, I actually took my voice memo and asked them at dinner and recorded it. I was like, where does TALF stand now? And Augustus, he's just kind of lost steam. I think what motivated them was just this idea of protesting.
Right.
Because I have to tell you that the day after that happened, I woke up and they have these 2 stuffed llamas that they call the Grand High Llamas. And the llamas call each other sis number 1 and sis number 2. The llamas, when I woke up, Minerva had a new sign that said Llama Lives Matter. And she was she was marching with that. And like, I never said llama lives don't matter.
No, what you said was all animals matter.
Oh. I never said such a thing.
I mean, you thought it.
But I had to. But I only told my housewife friends that. But I kind of had to pull them aside and make sure that they understand what the Black Lives Matter. I mean, I don't mean to bring this down, right? We're having a good time, but like, I do take BLM seriously.
Sure.
And I need to make sure that they understood that when they marched and said Black Lives Matter, that like, and they do. It turns out like they do have the understanding I hope they had that's age appropriate about like unfair treatment of Black people and police brutality, right?
Right.
But they've just taken the Lives Matter and run with it, and that is what I'm afraid. Like, it's a slippery slope from Black Lives Matter to locks don't matter to llamas lives matter. Like, if they start saying all lives matter,
You're fucked.
I'm fucked. Like, all of my progressive parenting will just come back to bite my ass.
Where can people find you?
I am on Twitter, although I try not to be too much. Their ears can find me on Wait, Don't Tell Me every once in a while. And their eyes can find me on CBS Sunday Morning. And if you want to know about how these children were made, I mean, not the details, but kind of the love story, it's all in my book, which is kind of a memoir called Approval Junkie.
Who inspires you?
I'm inspired by so many different people, famous or not. And after this whole monologue that revolves around my being a mother, it's so corny to say that my kids inspire me. But okay, I mean, it's the low-hanging fruit, and I'm just gonna squeeze it. But my kids really do inspire me. They're so, oh my God, they're so extra. They're so expressive. They're so creative. They're so exhausting and relentless. But it's funny because who they are and how they move through the world, I find inspiring. And then also their very existence inspires me to try to be more patient, more compassionate, and to try to add value and meaning to the world, if that makes sense.
This can be whatever you want it to be. Tell me something good.
I have felt lately that the thing we call social media, particularly Twitter, where I live way more than Instagram, and Facebook, where I dip my toes in only a little bit. It has obviously historically been a kind of cesspool, but I have felt lately that there's just been so much beautiful connection on social media. And I guess it just goes to show that everything is what you make it. If I decided to dive into political debates on Facebook or
engage with assholes on Twitter, it wouldn't be that. But every day, if I spend time focusing or engaging, there are kind, funny, smart, open-hearted strangers who aren't strangers with whom one can connect on social media. And I think that's especially important during this time.
Thank you, Faith, for originally sharing your good and then returning again to make it even gooder with us here today. Well, my good friends, that is a wrap on Season 6, and oh, what a good time we have had. We began by jumping the pond to London and sharing the good from all over the globe. We even celebrated our 250th episode with music icon Taylor Dayne. That's one that stands out from this season, along with a lot of others. And now we get a well-deserved summer break. Have you listened to all our episodes from this season and beyond? Now is a great time for you to catch up. Use the episode guide wherever you're listening to do so, and we'll be back on Wednesday, October 7th, with brand new good episodes for the launch of Season 7. Until then, be good.